Balotz, Fox 9 News.
Norm Coleman isn't giving up just yet in his battle against Al Franken.
Yeah, he may have lost the case in court, but the appeal already is in the works. Fox 9 political reporter Jeff Goldberg's live in St. Paul with more. Jeff?
Well, Coleman and his team are going to take this week to review that ruling from the three-judge panel. They say they will likely file the appeal to the state Supreme Court early next week. They have 10 days to do it. They certainly plan on beating that deadline. The bottom line is, when it comes to this ruling by the three-judge panel, Norm Coleman believes the judges were simply wrong.
Well, disappointed, but not surprised.
Despite the ruling, Norm Coleman thinks he still has a strong argument, one best suited for the state Supreme Court. He continues claiming counties use different standards to count absentee ballots and that 4,400 absentees still need to be counted.
But you do think the Supreme Court will see things differently?
Well, I'm very hopeful. I wouldn't be appealing if I didn't think that the Constitution required them to see things differently.
In their ruling issued Monday, the three-judge panel clearly rejected Coleman's claims, stating Franken received the most votes on Election Day and is entitled to an election certificate. They conclude the election was conducted fairly, devoid of fraud, and with no evidence of disenfranchising voters.
I would call on Senator Coleman to allow me to get to work for the people of Minnesota as soon as possible.
So that's a lot of votes out there in a race that's very, very close. So let's count the votes, and then we'll live with the outcome.
Given what the three-judge panel said and the way they crafted their opinion, I think it's unlikely that the Minnesota Supreme Court is going to look at this same amount of evidence and reach a different conclusion.
If Coleman's appeal fails, the question then shifts to an election certificate, which both the governor and Secretary of State must sign for Franken to be seated in the Senate. Secretary Ritchie says he will sign it after the appeal. Governor Pawlenty says he will follow the direction of the court when the appeal is done.
I'm not saying, I'm going to decline to issue the certificate. I'm just saying we'll make that decision when we get to that point.
Norm Coleman isn't saying what he'll do if he loses the appeal, only that now it's still time to fight.
And I don't fear for the future. I'm not anxious about this. I'm not wringing my hands. I believe we're doing the right thing. We'll do the right thing, we'll live with the result, and life will go on.
Coleman continues doing work for the Republican Jewish Council, recently giving speeches in Las Vegas, California, and Florida. He says he's also speaking quite a bit with Republican colleagues in Washington, D.C., who he says tell him to keep doing what he believes is right. And right now, that's filing an appeal with the state Supreme Court.